President is elected by the entire nation, and it should be the entire nation who determines who they want for president, whether they're guilty of insurrection or not. It's up to the people.
It's Donald Trump's lawyer, Christina Bobb, right there. And yes, you heard that right. She says that it should be the nation that determines who the president is, even if they are guilty of insurrection. Even if they are guilty of insurrection. You mean the 14th Amendment, Section 3, doesn't matter? You mean what, Jefferson Davis should have been able to run for president? What, you mean that someone can have engaged in an insurrection like your client, Donald Trump, and you think that that is just okay? Really? But that's the caliber of lawyer that Donald Trump has. By the way, I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch network where facts matter. That's the new talking point that Donald Trump has his lawyers going out to the various right-wing media and saying, for example, this was an interview Alina Habba just conducted with Fox over the past few days. And in this interview, she says, look, we take a look at the case law here. We're very careful with the case law here. And ultimately, we want the Supreme Court to listen to this and deliberate over these issues. Except Alina Habba, it's different than what Alina Habba said last week, and frankly, different than what your actions were. Take a look at what Alina Habba says right here. Play this clip.
Some of us understand what the Constitution says, due process. There are certain amendments that are still enabled by the Constitution that we have to abide by. And I think the Supreme Court will do the right thing. They'll give us some clarity on this. But I can tell you that these are so crazy. The Jack Smiths, the DAs, the AGs, they've become so deranged, so obsessed with taking down Trump that the law doesn't make sense to them because they don't care about it. But people like me, we take it one step at a time. We look at case law. We look at things that are precedent for this country. We look at the Constitution, and we will raise those all the way up to the Supreme Court when we have to. And they're taking issue with this. You just saw Jack Smith get shut down because he tried to rush his trial, his bogus trial, because he wants it before the election. We got Fannie in Georgia doing the same thing. This Maine woman that thinks she's a lawyer, she's another one. You're not making a good name for yourself, and you're going to go down on the wrong side of history.
It's like a stream of the worst lawyers' consciousness just spewing, I don't know, MAGA mush masquerading as legal analysis on Fox and other right-wing networks. She says that special counsel Jack Smith got shut down before the Supreme Court, that he's getting shut down. Well, it is your client's appeal. And you went on Fox, Alina Habba, right before Jack Smith went to the Supreme Court and said, Supreme Court, you need to listen to Donald Trump's appeal on the issue of absolute presidential immunity, because you, Alina Habba, were on Fox saying that the Supreme Court should listen to this now. You said you wanted the Supreme Court to hear the petition for certiorari, if you even know what a petition for certiorari means. Remember when you said that on Fox? Here, play this clip.
And I believe someone had called on the Supreme Court to do this exact thing. We need the Supreme Court to step in and stop this. This has become complete mayhem. And if they don't start looking at these decisions, and as the highest court in this country, as the arbiter of law, the ultimate arbiter of the Constitution, the people that are supposed to enforce our bedrock, if they don't start doing it, which thank goodness they are, we, have some law and order hopefully soon.
Well, and then in terms of Alina Habba saying that she knows all of the case law, and that from the prior clip that I played earlier in this video, remember when Alina Habba said that? How about you don't know Blasingame v. Trump, the case involving your client? Remember when the Second Circuit asked you, Alina Habba, about the Blasingame decision, and you said, I don't know what the Blasingame decision holds. Remember that? Here, play this clip.
Okay, are you familiar with Blasingame versus Trump, the D.C. Circuit case that was recent?
Let me see if it's in my, not off the top of my head, Your Honor.
Okay, they got this issue before we did, and obviously it is not binding authority on us, but it is persuasive, and I was hoping that you could react to it, but you don't have any reaction to it at this time.
I don't, but I can say that if it's not from the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has made very clear that we are not to extend Bivens unless it passes the two-factor test. My colleague,
right? That's a official act case. It's more dealing with the immunity.
Okay.
But if you're not prepared.
I'm happy to talk about the immunity and official acts. Actually, Mr. Cohen's complaint states on paragraph 47 that at all relevant times herein, the individual defendants acted within the course and scope of their employment and under the color of law. So right there, never mind Bivens, the president, he admits that the president was working as within his job as the president of the United States, and his complaint fails under absolute immunity. So under two, frankly, it fails on two levels. I can speak generally, of Nixon. The case serves as an independent basis of dismissing appellant's case against President Trump. As I stated, a former president of the United States is entitled to absolute immunity from damages liability predicated on his official acts. That was stated in the Nixon v. Fitzgerald case. But that is precisely what appellant is attempting to do. The complaint specifically alleges, as I said, that he was working within the course and scope of his employment. So for those reasons alone, it must be dismissed under Nixon. And then appellant also tried to skirt this issue by claiming that President Trump's alleged conduct was done in bad faith. I mentioned this prior, but my client adamantly, first of all, denies that he had any involvement whatsoever in the conduct alleged in the complaint, and there is no specific facts that go to President Trump. Let's remember there were 7 counts. One was against President Trump, and it had no factual basis. But regardless,
And so yeah. I thank you for your time.
Yeah,
My
sure.
colleagues don't have it.
Sure.
No problem. Thank you.
Heart health and staying healthy, especially when you have a family that you want to be able to spend as much time with as possible, is so important. We could all benefit from heart healthy energy. One of the best ways to get some by supporting your blood pressure and circulation. Super Beets Heart Chews are an easy and convenient way to support healthy blood pressure. They're plant-based and stimulant-free, so you get a green boost without the jitters. Paired with a healthy lifestyle, the antioxidants in Super Beets are clinically shown to be nearly 2 times more effective at promoting normal blood pressure than a healthy lifestyle alone. Super Beets Heart Chews are incredibly delicious and so much better than any alternative supplements out there. I take my Super Beet Heart Chews each morning, and it's really kickstarted my morning routine. After taking my Super Beets Heart Chews, I feel like I have more energy and I'm ready to take on the day. Super Beets is the #1 doctor, pharmacist, and cardiologist recommended beet brand for cardiovascular health support. It's blood pressure support you can trust. Super Beets Heart Chews supports healthy circulation, so you not only get blood pressure support, you also get productive, heart-healthy energy without the crash. Double your potential with Super Beets Heart Chews. Get a free 30-day supply of Super Beets Heart Chews and a free full-size bag of turmeric chews valued at $25 by going to MeidasBeets.com. Get this exclusive offer only at MeidasBeets.com, spelled MEIDASBEETS.com. Okay, newsflash. The Blassingame decision is a civil case which holds that Donald Trump does not have absolute presidential immunity for conduct falling outside the outer perimeter of his responsibilities when he was the president, when he disgraced the Oval Office because campaigning, election activity, interfering with state election process falls outside the outer perimeter. So for 2 reasons, Donald Trump doesn't have absolute presidential immunity. One, on the grounds that there is no such thing as absolute presidential immunity in the context of criminal cases against former presidents, as Special Counsel Jack Smith argues, and for the additional reasoning and logic by the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals back on December 1st in the Blassingame decision, that even if it was an unusual circumstance where you can say this implied absolute presidential immunity exists, it doesn't here because it falls outside of the outer perimeter of official presidential responsibility. Then, of course, you can get into the amicus briefs that we talk a lot about here on the MeidasTouch Network. For example, one filed by actual legal experts, the top lawyers from 5 former presidential administrations, actual legal scholars who all came together and said, we worked in the Justice Department, we worked at various levels of government in top positions, and under the executive vesting clause, Article 2 of the Constitution, for this additional reason, Donald Trump's arguments would violate the transition of power as codified in Article 2 of the United States Constitution. And then you have American Oversight, which filed an amicus brief saying this should not even be heard by the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals on an interlocutory appeal because federal judge Tanya Chutkin's order, the district court order, is not a collateral order and therefore no direct appeal should be permitted. We should wait until after conviction. But that's actually, Alina Habba, what the experts are saying. Then here Alina Habba then went on Breitbart, and here she is always having to go to do ad hominem attacks because there is no logic to her argument. So watch how quickly she starts saying Soros prosecutors. Play this clip.
You know, we're motivated. We have a great team, and the facts are on our side. The law is on our side. The problem is that we have corruption, you know, and politics permeating our judicial system. So as long as we can get some people who really put their robes on and take it seriously and get rid of some of the corruption in these, you know, Soros backing AGs and DAs.
Oh, yes, it's the Soros prosecutors. There's nothing anti-Semitic about that. Just to go blame the Soros prosecutors, that they're the ones who have created a cabal and they're the ones who are responsible for this. I mean, how pathetic can you get where you have to say these Soros prosecutors? Also, here's the other argument that she makes on Breitbart, where she says how the other side, he goes, they have to lie and cheat and steal. Here, play this clip.
What do you think is going on there? Shocking. Isn't it shocking? It's shocking that he's going to be tied up in court. You know, it's like what I said before. They can't beat him. So they have to use, you know, corrupt methods, lie, cheat, and steal. And part of that is tying him up in court so that he can't be out in Iowa and he can't be out where he needs to be campaigning. Whether they win or lose, they don't care. They've already, in their minds, done what they've wanted. And I think they would go so far as to try and put him in jail if they could. And it's a very frightening time.
So it's worth reflecting on the fact that Donald Trump's defense, if you will, is not built on I did not do it. Donald Trump's defense consistently is I could do whatever I want to do, right? It's his argument about why he shouldn't be disqualified under the 14th Amendment, Section 3. What's his argument? His argument is I never took the oath to support the United States Constitution. There it is right there. You see it highlighted right there. That was his argument. I never took the oath to support the Constitution, nor am I an officer. As the office of the presidency, I was not an officer. That's what he argued. And what's Donald Trump's argument when it comes to absolute presidential immunity? That I can do whatever I want to do. If you accept as true all of the accusations in Special Counsel Jack Smith's indictment, those are official acts. I'm permitted to do it. There is no such thing as criminal exposure if you are Article 2, if you're the president. The only thing that applies to you is the impeachment judgment clause. And if you are outside of the impeachment judgment clause, there's nothing that the criminal process can do. You can do whatever you want to do. That's Trump's argument. Didn't take the oath, not an officer, absolute presidential immunity. So in terms of lie, cheat, and steal, Donald Trump would say, I'm immune. I never took the oath to support the Constitution. And so sorry, I'm not an officer. And I don't know, Alina Habba, maybe you should read the Blasingame decision as it relates to your own client and is what the law is. But nah, just, you know what, just go on all these right-wing, you and Christina Bob. Just keep on doing what you are doing and build up that portfolio of evidence for Special Counsel Jack Smith so ultimately you both can whine when you get sanctioned or when you lose. Then you could brag about how you lost and how you got sanctioned almost $1 million, because that's something that dignified lawyers do, whining about being sanctioned and act like that's a good thing. Here, play this clip right here. This is from an event that Alina Habba attended 2 to 3 weeks ago. And she brags about getting sanctioned by a federal judge for bringing a patently frivolous case against Hillary Clinton and numerous other defendants, where Habba was sanctioned nearly $1 million. Play this clip.
That got assigned to a Clinton-appointed judge. And what do you think happened? Nobody's heard of the case, right? It's because it's gone. I never met the judge. I never walked into the courtroom. There were probably 50 lawyers representing all of the radical left. Clinton's lawyers, Mook's lawyers, and the list goes on and on and on. 1 month. It got dismissed, and me and President Trump got sanctioned $1 million for going against crooked Hillary. You didn't know that, did you? Fake news, folks. Fake news. They won't report it. But guess what? We paid that million, and we're going to keep on fighting.
Well, there you have it, folks. Tell me how you think about this, how you feel about this in the comments below. If you want to support our work here, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Let's keep on growing this together, and we appreciate you. Hit subscribe, it's free. Hit the thumbs up, it's free. That helps these videos, and leave a comment below. Have a good one.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.